What's happening, everybody? My name is Brian, that is Shane, and this is the Popcast Unleashed. And I literally, once again, ended a phone call as the countdown went 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. I'm plugging in my mic at 3, 2, 1 today. This is my old microphone, or actually my really good one that no longer it works.
Oh no!
Thanks to my son was playing with it and he broke it. So, but you know, I've got the old standby. I've got the old Yeti rocking. So hopefully you guys hear me okay out there.
Yeah, you sound fine, but you know what's gonna really suck for me is that when I'm trying to edit tomorrow's video with that old Yeti mic.
Yeah, I feel bad for you. Now, I seriously considered like holding the mic here and just going, the first time Picard decided to do Star Wars, Star Trek, and just see if I could like hold it. Well, I'm like, that's not going to work.
Never mind. Hours straight.
Not going to happen.
Hey, well, listen, everybody. Thank you for being here. It is the Thursday afternoon pickle party. I'm not sure what we're calling it yet, but this is Popcast
Unleashed.
Unleashed.
Popcast Unleashed.
It's a Popcast Unleashed pickle party.
Yeah, whatever.
Today we are talking about the following. Of course, we are doing our Strange New Worlds episode 2 review. We're also talking about a brand new Enterprise that we're going to see in Picard season 3. Interesting. Rings of Power, Upload Season 3, Avatar 2, which, just to be clear, we don't really care about. And Metal Gear Solid,
fans.
The movie is still happening, and I'm actually very interested in that. So, a lot of good stuff today. It's probably going to be a long stream. Here's the deal. If you're new here and you don't know how it works, we start here. We start on the Popcast Unleashed. And then about halfway through, after the review and all that, we head into the members section, and that link you can find in the comments in the description below. So when we head in the members section, we'll let you know. We'll give you fair warning, but we will spend the majority of our time here. Shane, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing okay. It's been a really weird week. I feel like every time we do this live show, I say the same thing. It's been a really weird week. At some point, I just have to embrace the fact that my life is weird and that every week is not a weird week. It's just a normal week for Shane.
Here's the deal, boys.
We got a new one. Did we get a new one?
I got a couple new Will Wheaton inserts. Let me tell you something. Will Wheaton is a wealth of cringe-worthy material. Here's a really good one. Ready?
Is what I would say if I was a complete moron.
Wow.
And the fact that he did a bunch of these things on green screen makes it so easy to have fun with.
Right.
Thank you, Wesley. I appreciate that. Okay, so, yeah, you've had a rough week, dude. I feel you.
Weird.
So
yeah, I guess I should tell everybody what I'm doing.
Yeah,
right? I'm like,
yeah, and why we haven't put videos out yet this week?
Yeah, so I don't know if I have a good answer for that. We haven't put out videos this week because Shane's going through crazy mode. Yeah, so we were.
Sorry, I'm gonna go lighter on those.
Well, we put out a video on Saturday, which has done pretty good. It was actually a Strange New Worlds, kind of talking about how it's kind of paving the way for Star Trek to be better. And if you haven't seen that, make sure you go watch that video on our Prime channel. And then Tuesday, we were supposed to come out with kind of a Picard season 3, like what we think is going to happen. And then some news dropped that this video we're doing now is about, where it talks about Patrick Stewart actually not wanting the TNG crew back, which is juicy and interesting. And that's the video that was supposed to come out Tuesday, today, and will definitely come out Saturday. I've been working on the house a little bit. Got a little bit of issues going on.
No, yeah. So Shane was so stoked on Monday. He's like, yo, man, I'm working on these scripts, feeling really good, blah, 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 blah. He's so passionate, right?
Yeah.
That was at like 9 a.m. And by 9 o'clock at night, he's like, so my day isn't going great.
Well, you know what happens, and you guys tell us if you have the same problem. Like you start your day knowing exactly what you're going to do. And you're like, yes, and I'm going to accomplish this. And it's going to be so great. And you've got like this vision of the future. And then that first call from like the water company comes or like, somebody you had no intention of dealing with that day suddenly needs your attention for the next 2 hours, and it just derails your whole day. And then at the end of the day, you go, all that fun stuff I was talking about this morning just never happened. So
Yeah, for me, it's the electricity bill that always comes. But I'm not going to talk about that anymore because last time I talked about it, there was multiple chats saying, look at behind you.
Anybody with that kind of lighting cannot complain about their electric bill.
Yeah. Okay. So just so you guys know, today's show is sponsored by Liquid IV.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I got that sweet
Yeah.
animation.
My Liquid IV here. Yeah, stuff's good.
Yeah, I've been making smoothies out of it, and we're going to talk about a little bit more about it a little bit later. But before we do, I think it's time. We jump in.
Is there anybody to say hi to?
I guess we can say hi to people. Yeah. Hey, Question of Trek. What's up? Offspring, Jeremy Snyder. We got Kenneth Roke in the members chat. Norman Butch Wild. The fact that I'm reading this is not a good idea.
Buckwald. I like that name. Norman Buckwald.
Yeah. All right. So we have a new system. We have a new review system. And yeah.
Oh, you're going to unveil that now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to. But first, let me make sure everything works. Okay.
Okay. I just want, let's just say, but also let's just say hi to everybody real quick.
Okay.
I mean, and if that's cool with you, because it says here, Jeremy says he's not sticking around long today. He's got to meet up with friends. Wait, Jeremy, I thought we were friends.
Hey, Jeremy, I saw that your thing on. Oh wait, yeah, I gotta get in my rant of the week before we go on the review. I'm sorry, I gotta get that off my chest. But speaking of Facebook, Jeremy posted a picture of what appeared to be a caveman size butterflied shank of meat. Like,
okay,
let me tell you something. There's a couple things that get my engines going.
Did you say butterfly sized? I'm sorry.
No, it's called butterflied. So it's like it's the shank of meat. It's like there's a bone coming off it, and it looks like a big tomahawk steak.
Okay, your meats, so yeah.
Yeah. So a couple things to get my engines going, and one of them is pictures of amazing cuts of meat. So
you have a calendar with like every month is a different cut of meat, like back in the butcher's like wearing an apron but no undershirt.
Yep.
Oh my.
Is that your what you got up on the wall?
Yeah. I don't have like the nudie mags and all that. I have like just pictures of meat.
Of like raw meat being cut.
Meat everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I do have a rant of the week, and luckily
Rant of the week.
Ooh, fun.
we have that little sweet thing right there. So, as much as I love our father, I have been in Facebook hell this week.
Yeah.
He literally called me right before the show. So if you guys don't know, Shane and I share a father. Of course, we're brothers.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
He gets the top half, I get the bottom half, and I got the bad end there.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
I don't even know what that...
Been a weird week, man. Been a weird week.
So, my dad is trying to get... he's trying to figure out his Facebook. So he has a Facebook page.
Yeah, he's in his late 60s, guys, so this will be fun.
So if you know how Facebook works, there's a Facebook profile, and that's like a personal profile, right? And that's what you log into when you're talking to your friends, sharing pictures, whatever, right? Personal stuff. And there's a Facebook page. And the Facebook page is sort of like the Popcast, which you guys should go check it out. Facebook.com/Popcast, guys. And the page is like, it's sort of like a business, or a show, or, entertainment, or a nonprofit, whatever. It's an entity. It's not a person. So a Facebook page is an entity. Now, he has a Facebook page for his business.
Okay.
I set it up for him. He is trying to figure out how to use it now, 3 years later. And he is continually asking me for the username and password to his Facebook page. Here's how it works. On Facebook, when you have a page, there is no username and password. a profile manages the page, or multiple profiles manage the page. Like my profile on Facebook manages our podcast page.
Yeah. The more you know.
Right. And so I go, the first time I was like, Dad, listen, you manage your page through your profile, like your regular Facebook profile, like your name, that profile. That's how I manage the page. He goes, oh, okay. But what's the password? I was like, Dad, listen, there's no password. There's no username. When you log into your regular Facebook, you go to your pages and you manage your page there. He goes, okay, yeah, but I don't know what the password is. I'm like, Dad, listen, there's no password. You don't log into your page. You log into your profile and you manage your page. And he goes, okay, yeah, but I forgot the password. I'm like, Dad, there's no password. There's no username. You manage your page with your profile. And he goes, oh, okay. What's the password to my profile? I'm like, oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Stuff old people say.
Right,
yeah.
And so I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's too hard. So my poor wife, I was like, honey, help Dad out with this stuff. And she has spent the better portion of the day figuring that out.
Oh, God bless her soul. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
That's your rant of the week.
Yeah, because, he's not the only person. He's the most recent person, but so many people, family members of ours and people we work with, just can't figure out the whole page versus profile thing on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, I think maybe Facebook shouldn't have had profiles manage pages. You should just log into your page, because so many people just don't know how to do it, and it's nuts. And
it's complicated. And then you can, if more than one person is working on it, then if the main person who's working on it loses their login, then nobody can get into it.
That's what happened to us.
Yeah, that's for the longest time. Brian couldn't access our Facebook page, and I'm like praying that nothing bad goes wrong, because I don't own it technically.
All right. So on that, I set up our Facebook page for Popcast, and I didn't really worry about it because we barely use Facebook. But I set it up.
That's not true. I use it a lot.
Oh, yeah. Shane does, but I barely use it. But it was managed by my personal profile. My personal profile got temporarily banned before COVID. And then they said at the end of your ban, you can message us and we'll reinstate you. But then COVID happened and no one was working at Facebook.
That's right. Yeah, they said, yeah, due to COVID, we may never answer you.
Yeah.
Again.
So I messaged them. They literally said we might not get back to you, just keep trying. I tried for 2 years.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Dude, Jeremy, literally, I ended up starting a brand new Facebook account, and Jeremy actually followed me there, and other people that are friends of the show. And I got so into my new Facebook account, I finally got access to my old Facebook account, and I have no need for it now, except for to finally get back into the podcast and give us control back over our own page. For the longest time, no one had control over our page.
I just kept posting. I'm like, I hope everything's going okay.
He was just posting as himself.
It was pretty crazy. Okay, so hey, Jeremy says we're friends, but I can't drink with you through the screen.
That is very true.
That's a good point. Yeah. So okay, go with your friends. I get it.
Okay.
Let's see. What my friend's dad is the same with technology. It's all dads, man. They're all crazy.
It's rough, man. It's so hard, and then they'll ask the same question over and over again. And I'm like, Dad, I don't understand. When I'm talking, do you just completely ignore what I'm saying? I don't get it. Are you not listening to me when I'm talking, or is it because you're not getting the answer you think it should be? You just throw it in the recycle bin.
Well, he's made a whole series of assumptions, and if your answer doesn't quench his thirst for the answer to that assumption, then he's going to continue asking. So he's assuming, right, that you understand he's lost his main login. It's really silly.
I love the guy to death, but when it comes to technology, that's the one thing I think I sort of lose my temper over with Pops, Is because everything else I'm really patient with him, right?
Yeah,
But you know me, I do not like teaching people anything.
Yes, we know.
Yeah,
we found out that interestingly today. I'll tell you later.
Oh, did I do something wrong? You gotta let me know about that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it was pretty funny. It was about turning off a computer. Right.
Oh.
And so remember, you had someone turning off one computer remotely.
Oh my gosh, she was turning
that
off
person was turning off this computer here, and that's why it answers the question. But because you said turn off the computer, we didn't understand which one.
To be fair, at that moment, I gave like screenshot and very specific instructions, but I think that because I didn't specify which computer.
Yeah. That's what it is. So listen, it's partly dad, partly you, mostly dad, less you.
I'm just bad at teaching people something, and I'm patient with dad with everything but tech. And if you're listening, if you're watching, Dad, I'm sorry I lost my temper.
He's
a little bit.
He's not watching, bro.
I mean, he might be because he literally just said before the show, "I'll go watch the show."
Oh, did he? Hey, Dad. Sorry, love you.
Yeah, but I lost my temper a little bit. I was like, Dad, I don't get it. And he's like, why are you yelling at me? I'm like,
so many reasons right now.
Okay, so we have we're going to jump into the review, but before we do, we have a brand new review system. And before I do the whole sting and all that, I want you guys to see how it works. Basically, if you can see on the screen right now, we are going to have 2 individual scores. Very simple.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah. Very simple. As we're going through the episode in a linear fashion, Shay and I are going to point out things that we either liked or disliked. If we like something, it gets a up vote. If we dislike something, it gets a down vote. Right?
Okay. That's cool.
At the end of the episode, we're going to tally those scores, create an average, and that will be the official Popcast score for that particular episode of that particular television show. How do you guys feel
or
about
a movie or whatever we do, right?
Right. You guys like that?
I like it. I like it a lot.
All right, we're going to jump into the review, but before we do, what's up? What's up?
You go for it. Go ahead.
Okay, I got a sweet sting. I'm going to start the sting off. So,
well, before you actually start the review, we need to talk about our today's sponsor for our video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
So, again, listen, guys, Liquid IV, I don't know if you guys have heard of it before. Liquid IV is it's a great new drink. It's basically kind of like a sports drink. It's for it really helps you quench your thirst. So last week, Brian and I did a 5-hour show. Yeah. And I ran out of water, but luckily I had some Liquid IV, which I'm going to make right now while I'm doing it here.
Oh, okay.
And I got to tell you something. Look at this is how we do it with my finger there. Luckily it's clean. So this stuff really quenches your thirst. I'm telling you, when I was at 8,000 feet elevation, I could not keep water in my body. This stuff totally and completely quenched my thirst. Right now, Liquid IV is doing something totally crazy. If you've ever bought it before, it's I guess it would be more on the expensive side. I'm sure they won't appreciate me saying that. But by using our coupon code, you get 25% off discount. So now's a good time to go load up on it instead of wait until you get to Costco, which it is also available at Costco. Go to the link in the description below. Get your Liquid IV. It comes in all kinds of great flavors. Strawberry, lemon lime's my favorite. What did you like was your favorite?
Strawberry.
Watermelon?
Lemon lime is, compared to strawberry, lemon lime is strawberry.
All right. Well, you guys try your flavor and tell us which one you like.
Strawberry is outstanding. This is what I do, by the way. I don't put it in water because that's for plebs. Let's be honest. Okay.
I'm plebbing right now.
What I do is I take some frozen fruit and I throw it in a blender and I throw some water in the frozen fruit and I throw my Liquid IV in there and I blend it up. Makes every single shake at home makes it taste like Jamba Juice. I don't know if that's actually like the way it was intended to work, but
I'm sure. Right now, the people at Liquid IV are like, "Stop what you're saying.
Don't do that.
Put it in water."
Just put it in water.
Anyways, go guys, give it a try. Use the coupon code the Popcast for 25% off. Liquid IV. Trust me, you're never going to try one of those other guys again.
And the description is the link is in the description below. Okay. Now, we're going to start our review. I have a brand new sting for this. We're taking the review thing real seriously. So here we go.
Oh. Impressive.
Yeah. That took,
Wow.
that took 12 hours.
I'm like, dang. I feel like we're like pro production company here.
Yeah, no, when I say I'm taking the review thing seriously, I'm taking the review thing seriously. Okay, like I mentioned before, an upvote is 1, a downvote is -1. We're going to tally our scores up at the end of the show, and we're going to give you an official Popcast score, and we would like to know what your score was. So as we go, please track your own score, upvotes, downvotes, and see how close you are to our opinion. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. It's
Woo.
Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 2, Children of the Comet. And I like to preface this with, boy, and I'm going to give this an upvote. Boy, did this remind me of classic Trek. There was no world-ending, universe-ending problems. I guess one planet was definitely at risk. But the stakes weren't so high that it required the entire Federation to convene and start debates on what to do.
We didn't have the entire armada there. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Right. It was a mission. It was a mission for the Enterprise and the crew, and the whole show was based on how they dealt with it. And I really appreciated that. Just like last week. So far, what we're getting is very classic Trek, and wow, what a strong opening 2 episodes. So, Shane, what'd you think? What'd you think your overall premise of this was before we get into the linear part of it?
Yeah, once again, it's it's kind of a return to the kind of Star Trek that we want. It's episodic. We come into this episode feeling very much like a traditional Star Trek TOS, TNG, Voyager type episode. I got to tell you, I actually, and I'd like to give this a point up. The opening title sequence, I actually watched it a second time. Typically, when these new shows come out, Picard and Discovery, I just skip the music. I skip I watch it once and I'm like, oh, that's okay. But I didn't love it. Not since Enterprise have I just wanted to watch over and over the opening title sequence song and graphics. So,
Yeah. I even like the new Star Trek Sting. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
You didn't bite on my joke. So,
oh, what was the joke?
Not since Enterprise have I wanted to watch the opening intro song over and over and over. Usually bite on it.
You know why I didn't bite on that, Shane? Because I know you actually love the Enterprise theme.
I do love it.
Right.
But actually, Star Trek Voyager is probably one of my favorites.
I'm going to give you a downvote for that. Okay.
You just downvoted Strange New Worlds because of me, and I love that. No, seriously, Voyager was my favorite opening. One of my favorite openings. Yeah, I think I like TNG, but Voyager is very explorative.
Yeah.
And also Strange New Worlds the same way as explorative. It's got really beautiful music. So I thought that was really great.
Yeah, and I also like the new Star Trek Stinger, like the super bright colors and all that.
Yeah, that was cool. Where it like winds around. And,
yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, that was neat.
Okay, so we get into this, and what's going on here is there is a comet heading to a planet. This is the planet. Looks like a desert planet. It's like Tatooine or something. I don't know what. I don't have another version.
Oh my God, it's Star Wars again. Yes.
I don't have another example of like a desert planet. So
are the Tusken Raiders going to pop out here any second?
Yeah, this is the Tusken Raider planet. And apparently this comet is heading on like a crash course for this planet, and it's just going to wreck the planet, right?
Right.
And we got a little shot of the aliens. The aliens look great, by the way. I gotta get.
I thought the same thing.
Another upvote.
We need to give that one a point up because not for me, but I'll take your point up.
Okay.
But I did think the same thing.
So often in Star Trek, and this is going back all the way to the 50s. I feel like a lot of the makeup is focused on individual parts of the face. And what we're seeing now in Strange New Worlds is it's their hands. We in fact, to be honest, to give Discovery a little bit of a point, we saw it with Saru. We saw an alien that looked truly alien. Yes, it was still bipedal and it was still humanoid, but it wasn't just a person with a couple of prosthetics on its chin. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're seeing that that continue with Strange New Worlds. Their eyes look different. Yeah, of course they have prosthetics on their face and they have similar noses, but their hands are scaled and it just looks good. They look like an alien species. We've never seen this alien species, but it makes sense because they're pre-warp. So,
can I also mention? I want to mention I was a little concerned about what was going to happen with the log entries at the beginning of each episode, and we knew that going into Strange New Worlds, they were going to kind of get away from the captain's log, and it would be a different log entry from different people. So the first episode we had Pike, and this episode we had Uhura. I'm going to say it right. Uhura. Oh, it's very hard for me to do.
Uhura.
People are like, why don't you say it right? I'm like, well, that's how I say it. Uhura.
Uhura.
And I thought it was actually a nice setup. It didn't feel awkward not being the captain. And I was kind of curious about how I would feel it not being a captain's log and being somebody else. And it felt pretty natural, actually.
Yeah, I like that. The planet gave, Question of Trek said the planet gave me Stargate vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Probably because, I love Stargate, you know that. But every planet there was only 3 types of planets that they went to. It was either a
there's only so many atmospheres on Earth to shoot on. Yeah.
Right. It was either a desert planet, which they shot in the Mojave Desert, or it was like a forest planet, which they shot somewhere in Canada, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Or
what? Yeah.
Or all right. Or very rarely we got like an ice planet, very rarely. 99% of the time it was either forest or desert. It was a couple of times we saw something like a very unique atmosphere, but most of the time it was one of those planets. Sure. And that's fine. I get it. There's only so many places you can shoot. But that I remember watching Stargate thinking like, did we already go to this planet or it looks exactly the same. All right, so this Comet though, it's flying through and I like the way it actually opened with Uhura too. I like this Uhura.
I do too.
Like I like her a lot. I think she's believable. She's, I don't want to say cute, but she has like that quality where it's like, I'm smart, I'm young, I'm green, but I'm eager to learn. She has all the qualities that like the original Uhura had as someone playing a young version of that character, and it works.
Right.
I also love these uniforms. The dress uniforms are sick.
They look really good. In fact, I want to give a thumbs up. I want to give a upvote here for Ortega's actually hazing Uhura.
Okay.
I love that. It's nice to see you can still mess with people in the future and everybody's not all butthurt about it. I do not believe Discovery would have probably allowed some sort of hazing incident to occur where we're making somebody feel out of place or bad.
No.
And I like that they actually went with that here, and they use the what we're going to eventually find out to be the LGBTQ character to do it. So
yeah, it would have been very problematic.
It would have been not nice, and we would have had some sort of mental distress over it.
Yeah, the ship probably would have overheard them, and the ship would have gotten upset and stressed out and tried to explode itself, and in an act of self-deletion. And then of course the ship's doctor's gonna have to talk the ship down. No, don't do it. People love you.
Well, and I love that Uhura just went with it. She could have went back inside and changed, but no, Ortegas didn't give her that option. And so they went forward with it, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. You can't be late to the captain's dinner, which I love. Speaking of the captain's dinner, I love the fact that the captain is cooking dinner. That's awesome.
He's a grill master, dude. You got no other option but to like it.
Dude, I am straight simping for Captain Pike. I love everything about this dude. I love his hair. I love his whole attitude. I love his whole air, his command, his presence.
Yes.
And now he's a grill master. Oh my God. No wonder why my wife loves this show. By the way, the very first Star Trek, in 20 years of marriage that I've shown my wife that she actually liked. She watched the first episode and she was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, I like that. What's put the next episode on?" I'm like, "There is no next episode. It's next week." All right. This was like a
He's
few days
spoiled
ago.
by streaming.
And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "This is a brand new show." He goes, "Oh, we have to wait now?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, finally there's a Star Trek I like and I have to wait every week to watch it?" I was like, "Yeah, babe, that's how it works."
That's how television used to be. She's not that old. Come on, or she's not that young. Come on.
Yeah, so she no wonder why she likes the show, because Anson Mount is a straight stud. It didn't hurt too that like in the very first half of last week's episode, you know, swole Spock is walking around with his shirt off.
Oh yeah, there you go. Sexy Spock.
Yeah, talk about a great scene for literally everyone in the room. Okay, between T'Pring and Spock, all the boxes were checked.
Yeah, time to shut the door.
Right. Oh, we finally get interaction with Hemner. How do you feel about this?
We meet Hemmer. It was interesting that we meet Hemmer in this kind of scenario where he's cutting something and they have this weird thing where Uhura is blind, or he's blind. Uhura recognizes it and he kind of makes an issue about it. So my notes here were kind of like, okay, so he's a little cranky, a little cocky actually, which I thought was interesting. He will eventually get my upvote in a couple more scenes forward, and I'll tell you about that in a second.
So I actually like this because, and I'm gonna give it an upvote because this scene, it showed her like, "Oh, well, let me help someone who's clearly disabled," and he's like, "Yeah, hey, back off, dude. I'm not disabled."
Right. Yeah, it was a good introduction to the character and his core. It was a great way to just like give you who the character is in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and the great thing about this is not like, oh, there's a disabled person that works on Starfleet and we're doing this to be inclusive. No. He doesn't have sight, so he's playing a disabled person, but that is his superpower. It's not a weakness. It's not for the sake of being inclusive. It's to show how unique people can be and aliens can be. That's very cool.
This is not an inclusive. Yeah, anybody who's cranking up the inclusive meter because we got a blind person or a blind character, that's not what this is. That was an opportunity to, even further alienate this character. And as you can tell, he does not feel at all. In fact, he said something to the effect of, "Oh yeah, my other senses are far superior."
Right.
Meaning they're far superior to you humans. So, which I thought was quite interesting.
You pesky humans.
Right. Spock and him do a good job tag teaming his introduction here.
Yeah, I love that they brought a character from that we were introduced to in Enterprise to the show.
Yeah, well, you mean the albino and Andor, yeah.
Yeah, he has there's actually a name for his race.
I know, I didn't write
I forgot what it was called. But yeah, basically the albino on blind on Andorians.
Yeah.
That was in that concept was introduced in Enterprise.
They're the Anars.
Anars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're actually seeing some interesting stuff in Enterprise. We actually saw the NX-01 model last week in his ship, the exact same Archer. And of course, the name of the ship was called Archer. So a lot of Enterprise vibes here, which is awesome. Okay. Yeah, we got the tag team thing, blah, blah, blah.
I like that Uhura kind of bounced back at him too. She didn't just take it. She gave a little bit of attitude back. And of course, he liked her as a result. So
equal footing. All right, the captain's sharing a story about something that went poorly, and it's supposed to be, someone got hurt, and everyone's laughing, and Spock is confused as to why it's funny when someone got hurt.
I think that's definitely a vote up for me. So if you can tick that one up for me. This was very traditional, very, very traditional TOS Spock. Jokes going around, and he just doesn't get it. And I thought Ethan Peck played that off really well. And it felt very genuine to me.
Yeah. And he pays it off later in the episode, which is great.
Yes.
Which we'll get to. That's when he explains, sometimes things are going so badly, you just have to laugh, which, it's a very human thing to do, which was pretty much you earlier this week.
Right.
All right. Let's get past this dinner scene. Unless you want.
Well, just real quick, one more thing in here. They do a good job with Uhura's backstory. And so I want to give him another
agree.
vote up.
Okay.
I'd like to give another vote up because, you know, the fact that we find out that she knows 36 different languages and everybody just kind of reacts to that around the room. And it's like, oh, holy cow, you know, he throws out a first number, which is like 12 language. I can't remember what he said, 12, 24. He's like, well, it's actually 36. And everybody's kind of like, what? Because, you know, it just kind of shows that she's just not there on the bridge. She's earned, you know, she should be here. She's smart. She's intelligent. And it really fleshes out that backstory, which we really never knew.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I always assumed that the original Uhura must have known a lot of languages considering her job, but.
Well, we can assume all we want, but it's assumption. And so once they actually give us the story, then it's just better.
That's true. Okay, so yeah, so this whole dinner scene was very good, very Trek. Enjoyed it very much.
And we should just mention that the reason why, because there are some people who can't see the show because it's not airing overseas. So let's just go ahead and say that Uhura's backstory is that her parents were killed, also as well as her older brother, and she ended up living with her grandma, who was in Starfleet previously. And since Uhura didn't know what else to do, she ended up just joining Starfleet because that's what her grandma did.
Right, and she did mention too that she is not really like rah Starfleet. You know,
she didn't say that though, and I got a bone to pick about that.
Interesting. She didn't say that.
She did not. All she said was she didn't really know what else to do, so she joined Starfleet.
Well, okay, so on the planet's surface or the Comet's surface, she does say like she wasn't very interested in Starfleet at one point.
No.
All right.
Watch, we'll see. You keep going here. Spock.
Okay.
Spock tells her something that I don't agree with.
Okay. Now we get this scene where Pike is talking to number one, and you know they're addressing the fact that he knows he's gonna die, but you know it's worth it for him because he knows the people he's gonna save in the process, which is a very valiant thing to do. What do you think about this whole scene?
I mean, we addressed this in the first episode, so I do feel like it was a little bit more kind of a retread of the same thing. I didn't quite want to give it a downvote because I do want to learn more about it. We do find out that apparently, he saved these 4 kids,
right?
And he knows their names, so he knows it's real. I mean, the one thing that we should talk about, I did put it in here to speak about it, is something that they don't talk about in the first episode is that Pike keeps talking about how he experienced his own death. Okay. The reality is, though, he did not die. If you go back to TOS, we know he's in further episodes when Spock ends up trying to take him back to Talos, so that he ends up spending the rest of his life in an illusion of an actual life with the woman he fell in love with on that planet. Right. So we know that his ending is not necessarily he doesn't die per se. He doesn't know his death. And so there's something that either the writers have made a mistake here, which I just don't believe that's the case, or they're intentionally keeping the fact that he didn't see everything. He only saw up to a certain point, which was his injury itself, and he's associating with himself dying. So he has misinformation on what's about to happen to him, even though he experienced it.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't know and I guess maybe he thinks that no, you're right. So he didn't die.
He didn't die. He actually goes on to have somewhat of a happily ever after.
And he knows he didn't die. So,
But he doesn't know that. That's what I'm saying. I believe this version of Pike up till now, whatever the vision that he saw, I think he's assuming that he dies.
Interesting.
So, and that's what this character knows. The audience actually has more information on what's going to happen to him than he really does.
Interesting.
And so they keep having this entire process of, she keeps saying, and I think that was the whole point of this episode, was you can change your fate. You can, maybe you can make decisions to change what happens. And he just doesn't believe it yet. So I think that's the process we're heading to.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. All right. So this is when they call him the bridge and they explain the deal with the comet. Now it's going to hit the sentient people and, they can't move the comet, blah, blah. So this is where it gets interesting. They try to blow the comet out of the water per se.
Okay.
And
no, they're not trying to blow it out of the water. No, they're trying to move it.
Well, I'm trying to shoot it.
Well, they're shooting it, but they're trying to redirect it.
Okay.
They actually scienced it up and which I thought was really great. They actually explained how they were going to do it. And they were going to use 4, so each one of the crew members, and I love this, they went around the bridge and everybody got a little bit of input. And it was La'an who said to use the torpedoes. And everybody had like a different idea. Spock said we can use this to push it. So they weren't going to blow it up. They were just going to move it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but when they tried to shoot it to move it, it threw up shields.
Yes, which was cool because now I'm like, well, okay, so can I have oh, you know what? We missed my thing. I'm sorry. So the Spock thing, we kind of went over, we passed it.
All right.
So Spock tells Uhura, as he's walking out of the captain's dinner, he basically chastises her. And he tells her, I wanted to join Starfleet my whole life. I dreamed about joining Starfleet. If you're not 100% on board for Starfleet, then maybe you shouldn't be in it and give somebody else room. Give somebody else an opportunity. Which I was not, and I would give a downvote at this point.
Okay, downvote away.
Because I don't believe that that was not the impression that they gave us, that she didn't want to be in Starfleet or she wasn't sure she wanted to be in Starfleet. Everything we've seen up to this point was she seems to be having a good time and everything seems to be going well.
Right.
And that was a really wild assumption for Spock to make based on the fact that her story didn't include, well, I wanted my whole life to be in Starfleet and I just couldn't wait. And the moment I got there, we got to remember Spock's backstory is not, he didn't want to be in Starfleet his whole life. That I recall, it was, he made a choice about, and there's different versions of it, but he made a choice to not become, part of the Vulcan Science Academy and to join Starfleet instead.
Right.
So he had some ambiguity there as well. So I just didn't feel like that was exactly a good thing.
I'm not giving it a downvote because I actually think I like this annoyed version of Spock, where he seems to be annoyed with everyone around him.
I mean, I'm okay with that a little bit, but I just didn't like the fact that we as the viewers were not given the impression that Uhura is somehow ambivalent about being in Starfleet, and yet he's acting like she is.
Maybe it was that scene that when he said that is where I thought that. Maybe there was no actual...
Yes, they planted it into you. Yes, 100%. It was not given. And that's kind of a little bit, the original reviews, when we talked about episodes 1 through 5, there are elements where there is still some element of tell instead of show happening in this series. And we're going to see a few of that in this episode.
Okay. Interesting. So on that note, they shoot the comet. It throws shields up. So that was interesting. Also, the shields have the same triangular look as the Soon shields, by the way.
Don't go there.
I'm not going to go there.
That's coincidental. Yeah, I'd like to give this a vote up because I thought immediately they introduced some element of intrigue and mystery. Like, hey, comets aren't supposed to have shields, man. And so immediately I'm like zoned in and I'm totally completely focused on what's about to happen.
I really wanted to give it a not vote, but then I saw the Soon shields and I couldn't. So.
They're not Soon shields.
Whatever. It looks a lot like Soon shields to me. Yeah, and it said puts up a force field. I don't know. Why did he say force field?
What else is it?
A shield. Shields
a force field. A force field is a shield.
I know, but I don't know.
It's not a Starfleet shield.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever heard the whole like shields versus force field thing. They've always said shields, but
they have, yeah.
All right. So, so technically that was weird. A little bit, right?
I mean, it wasn't weird. I mean, have they ever talked about a force field with something alien? Maybe. I can't go back and know for sure. But when they talk about their own thing, they say shields up or
deflectors up. Yeah.
Deflectors. Yeah. So, I'm not going to be that nitpicky.
Okay. I just got like Star Wars vibes when he said that.
Well, okay. Maybe.
Because they always say force fields. And
that's true. I guess I've never really cared that much. Or thought about it specifically.
So they're trying to communicate with the Comet. It's not happening. They've tried every single hail, every scan they could think of, and they got nothing. Bupkis.
I do like the fact that this was 10 minutes in. So for the first 10 minutes, we got like character back drama, character introduction, character depth, all this development. And then like right at the 10-minute mark is when they go in. So it's like, you know, you're spending a very small portion of the show actually dealing with this sort of crew thing. And it's very reminiscent to me to TNG and kind of the way they used to do their episodes.
All right. So is that an upvote?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's an upvote. Yes.
See, I'm not going to give it an upvote because that's the way it should be.
But I'm giving them an upvote because they didn't have to do that. So for me.
Okay. That's fair.
The other shows didn't do that.
That's, yeah. And they all got downvotes.
Are we up to Hammer in the Bridge?
What's that?
Are we at Hammer in the Bridge yet?
They're talking about the surface of the comet, or it's like a planet or whatever. And they got to.
This was cool.
Yeah,
I like this. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to beam to the surface, and they're going to take the new cadet because she's the only one there with the skills.
I like that they did the ready room. They had a round table type of discussion. Pike wanted everybody's feedback. Very good leadership.
Yeah, I love that. I love that we're back to that. I gotta be honest though. I don't know. Is Uhura the only person on the ship that is capable of linguistic whatever?
Well, I believe Lieutenant Kirk was also brought to do xenophobic, something to do with studying the foreign alien,
right,
planets or whatever.
Yeah,
so I think it was a combination of, she is the communications officer, so made sense.
Mm.
I mean, who else are you going to send?
Yeah, I feel
you don't
like
have like a bunch of linguistic people on board.
I feel like the showrunners really wanted to include Uhura in the show, but they knew they couldn't make her like an officer right away because it wouldn't fit the canon. But it does feel weird that there's a cadet as a bridge officer, and she's like seemingly the only person on the ship with these capabilities. That seems a little odd to me.
Well, she is. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not even sure if it really affects canon that much. And what do we know as a cadet? Is she in her last year at the academy? What version? And that's something that we don't really fully understand. What version is she like Wesley Crusher coming back, to hang out on the Enterprise and work for a summer? We don't really know what's going on. She was stationed here on the Enterprise as a cadet, which does seem interesting. I think it probably would have been better for her to be an ensign.
Right. It would have been easy. It would have been way better if she was ensign. They should have just said ensign because cadet is lower than ensign.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And as far as Wesley is concerned, I'm not gonna use him. But as far as Wesley is concerned, I always felt like that was a little bit of who kind of situation. He's not gonna be dropping on the bridge if he's not Crusher's kid,
Right. But after he went to the academy and he would come back to the Enterprise, she was actually posted here as a cadet. So I'm not exactly sure what that Starfleet protocol is for cadets being stationed on vessels. I know we saw a little bit of it in Picard.
Yeah. Elron jumped right. Yeah. He was answering.
Eleanor,
he was answering the phone call. Eleanor.
Yeah.
Eleanor was literally answering the call as the captain of the ship.
Yeah, so I don't think it's necessarily standard procedure, and maybe that is something that we don't quite understand. So it is a little bit out of the element, but they are trying to get her backstory. So the reason she's on this mission is basically to develop her character. This is the episode that develops Uhura's character, so that we kind of get an appreciation. And I'm assuming we'll obviously eventually she'll fully embrace wanting to be part of Starfleet. So
that's fair. All right, so her first away mission, right? She's going down there. This smoke show chapel.
What did you call her?
Smoke show. She's absolutely stunning. Nurse Chapel. I don't know what to tell you.
That was it was just unexpected. Yeah.
Absolute smoke show.
All right.
She inoculates everyone. I love this, by the way, that Kirk joins them. Unless you have something to say, I'm going to skip to the comments.
I did. I did. So
go ahead.
I had a downvote. I'm sorry, an upvote.
Okay.
For Hammer on the bridge. And this was my earlier, I said, basically La'an's talking about what they need to do, to retrofit the weapon so that they can move the asteroid.
Okay.
And he says, yeah, you're not the one that has to do it. Right. And it gave me like a Scotty vibe.
Right.
Like, you know, how Scotty was always like being asked to do things that nobody else could do and
Right.
like being under pressure to do it. So and he is the engineer. So it gave me a very Scotty vibe. And that was definitely a thumbs up for me.
Yeah. Scotty is someone I grew up with. He was like a mentor as a tech person. He always had that old saying you told Jordy. He's like, always tell him it's going to take longer than it's actually going to take, so that when you get it done sooner, you look like the hero.
That's right. That's great. I love what Norman Buckwald said here, that he called her Retcon Chapel. I like that. So you call her Smoke Show Retcon Chapel because she's definitely getting more visibility than she ever did on TOS.
Yeah, and considering, I'm 100% okay with that.
And we get a little flirtation here with Spock, right?
A little flirtation, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Spock is not. She's flirting with Spock. Spock is not reciprocating.
No, he's oblivious.
Yeah, he's oblivious. All right, so on the surface. By the way, I'm gonna give this an upvote because this is a really cool scene. First off, the graphics are top notch. The whole Comet scene, or whatever you want to call it, is really cool.
Yeah.
The structure on the Comet, where it's sort of built into the Comet, really cool. This whole egg thing was really awesome. I almost wanted to give a downvote because I thought they were going to kill Sam Kirk right here.
Well, yeah, so that's funny. I was about to like say, wow, they're really going to go into this character. And then they almost redshirted him.
Yeah.
Like he had that moment. He was being a total redshirt. He like stepped up to the thing, right? And then he gets zapped, even though Spock's telling him, I sense danger, get down, right? Or whatever. And he's like, what? And he gets zapped like a red shirt.
No, it's fine.
It's cool, man. Look, it's cool. You know, so that was kind of funny. And I was kind of about to be like, I was about to actually say, wow, they've got like Star Trek really is changing things. They've got like a non-lead white male character that's like, that's actually going to be part of the cast. And like, he's going to be a part of things. Right. And then they kill him. But he's not dead. He's just down and out for the count. We're going to see him again. He's got a whole relationship coming with our future Captain Kirk.
Sorry, this is too perfect because you said a white character.
As white dudes, if you have a problem with that, you know where you can go.
It's just been kind of obvious and funny at the same time. So it was kind of, I'm like, hey, they're really going to roll with this Lieutenant Kirk thing.
Yeah, Discovery keeps like the new red shirt in Discovery is any straight white male.
That was the joke, right?
Yeah.
Any straight white male was like the new red shirt.
I
and
remember
they would just
watching,
kill him,
like,
or he was a total, douche or whatever.
I remember at the beginning of season 3, they introduced a character and it was like this white guy. I'm like, oh, he's dead. Within the first 5 minutes, he died.
Right?
Like it was instantaneous. Like, yeah, it's hilarious. I'm glad they didn't kill him though, because that would have been a big downvote for me. Not because I'm interested in the character or whatever yet, but because he's not supposed to die yet. Period. The end.
Well, let me get an upvote just for the fact that they use the red shirt ideology to some degree,
right?
Which is a nice callback.
Yeah. So I'm glad they didn't kill him. But for a second there, I thought they just straight up killed Kirk right away.
I'm like, oh my god, they already killed him. It's not time yet.
That would have been both bold and bad at the same time. I'm like, wow,
right.
Strong choice.
Right.
I love the tricorders, really cool. The tech is such a great upgrade. Like it looks like the old tech, but it's upgraded, and it's very hard to explain. Someone took the concept of the older devices they use in the TOS, and they just made better versions of those devices. And I like what you said in the video last week. They didn't make their version of the tricorder, their version of the ship, their version of the engine room. They made a better version of what we already know. They upgraded and made a version of, an upgraded, better version of the TOS tricorder's engine room ship, and not their version. This is not their version of the communicator or whatever. It's just an updated 2022 version. And I love that so much because
I do too, and it
makes me want to buy it.
Yeah, and if you can give me an upvote here, because I spent some time. I actually went back and forth with the transporter room and the corridors, and I took a really good look at the wall panels, and I'm like, it's such a like TOS but upgraded thing, and I really appreciate that they did that for us.
I'm gonna give that up too because it's just too good. All right, so this gets interesting, and I'm gonna skip over to the shepherds now, if that's cool with you. Oh, wait, you want to talk about what's going on with her and Spock?
Well, I did want to say one more thing. I did feel, and I don't think it's quite enough for a downvote, but I did feel like the surface of a comet should be more chaotic when they landed on it. So
yeah,
it was
fair.
very like almost landing on a planet.
That's fair. I mean, but
And
it
it's
is,
not
but it is artificial, right?
No, it's a comet. It's just has some sort of AI attached to it, but it's an actual comet.
Someone built something into the comet, though.
Well, they built some sort of brain, I guess, for it, but we don't really know. But it definitely is a comet. I mean, like when they scan it, when they look at it, it's rock,
Right.
and ice floating through space. So
super cool concept, by the way.
Yeah, and of course it's reminiscent to the TOS episode where there was a comet full of people, and they were actually racing to their death, and Kirk and Spock came down there to try to help them. They were in the center of this comet. Now this one didn't have any people on it, but it did have intelligence, which that comet did as well. So
yeah.
it was nice little homage to TOS.
That's fair. Okay. And we see more of these people. I love them. I love
good art.
Yeah. Great aliens. So they got a planet full of people. They can't stop the ship. So they're trying to decode it, and they can't get close to it. And this is when they have that conversation between Spock and Uhura. Now Uhura does give her give him a little jab where she talks about Chapel being his girlfriend. He's like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah. So she does. Yeah. She just more good Spock. He doesn't realize that he's being flirted with. And the same thing would have happened with with Leonard Nimoy Spock.
Yeah. Another callback to sometimes things go so badly you have to laugh. That was good. That seems to be the theme of the episode, which is fantastic.
So he learned something from it. Yeah, that was interesting. Towards the end when he actually, and then there was a little bit, I was like, and there's canon for him being, laughing or being emotional at this point, but later on that'll need to change.
Yeah, I don't know if he was laughing like because he actually felt humor. I think he was doing it over comms to agree with their point.
Pretty genuine laugh, but yeah.
I think that was meant for them, not for him.
Okay.
Because I thought the same thing. For me, they're like, why is he laughing? And then he's like, sometimes you have to laugh when things go really badly. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's like him understanding the human colloquialism, right?
He got it finally, yeah.
Yeah, now the shepherds. Interesting. I really wanted to give him an upvote, but I think I'm going to give him a downvote.
I really wanted to give him an upvote, but I'm going to give him a downvote.
I really wanted to, but I don't like it when the prequels introduce a bunch of like really powerful characters that we know nothing about. And these are clearly on the same footing as Starfleet here. I mean, they're in the same, they can take out the Enterprise, right? They can physically harm them, and they're close, and they're in the Alpha Quadrant. Why have we never seen these people before?
Well, I mean, I think I can help answer that. And you got to remember that we ran into things in TOS that we never saw again. Powerful, very powerful things.
It's fair.
So it is possible to run into something that you'd never see again. But for these guys, it's a little better because they called them, comet monks or something to that degree. So it's possible that they really just spend their entire time following this comet or these comets that go around and do that. And that's why we probably would never run into them.
Shepherds. Okay. Now, you know what? I'll reverse it upvote because I can buy that.
Okay.
I can buy that.
You're welcome, Strange New Worlds. I just saved you from a Popcast downvote.
Yeah. Good job. I mean, I did like the characters, but I was like, the whole time I was thinking, we've never seen them before. But maybe they're from really far away, and this one ship is following this comet.
I thought it was a nice joke that they included like Spock Discovery Season 2 beard on this character.
Oh, he did have a beard.
It looks like it, huh? It looks like Spock from Season 2 of Discovery.
I thought it was like a helmet or something. Oh, yeah, it's a beard. I don't like that. You shouldn't have a beard. I'm going to go
back to the downvote.
I'm dropping the downvote again. That beard, that's not.
The beard's no good.
I know they're shepherds, guys, but not all shepherds have to have beards. That's all I'm saying.
Do monks have beards?
Yeah, no. Damn it. Monks do have beards. I'm going to give it back.
I saved you again, Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. I don't like the way it looks, but I guess it fits the character, I guess. All right. So there's very interesting. I also like the fact that there's a sentient advanced species that they start with a warning shot and they have a conversation and they're trying to settle this without fighting.
Initially.
Like they're trying to be reasonable and they're trying to explain each other. Like, look, this is our holy thing. Like, don't touch it.
Right.
Back off. And that I understand their reasoning. Like their reasoning is like, so they're zealots or whatever, but their reasoning is like, we don't want to fight with you, but we don't want you touching our stuff.
Yeah.
And the captain's trying to explain his position, and the shepherd is saying, look, the Comet has never steered us wrong. It's going to do the right thing no matter what. And of course, Pike can't believe that it's a comet, right?
Right.
Now I love how by the time this ends, actually, it comes full circle, and they were sort of right the whole time. There was a plan,
Sort of.
apparently. Yeah, some kind of plan. I'm not sure what it was, but that's a whole other thing we got to get into.
Oh, that'll be interesting to talk about in a minute.
Yeah. All right. So, he's trying to explain to him, hey, we got to protect the Comet, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, get off. Get the Comet's going to be their tomb because the shields are up and they can't get off the Comet. Okay. Now, this is interesting. Uhura figures. What's that?
Are we to the music?
Yes. How do you feel about the music thing?
Okay, so I thought there was something good here that's an upvote. They work around a potential plot hole when La'an asks why they would make music. So she explains that it responds to her humming. Spock recognizes it responds to her humming. And so then she's like, oh, it's music. And then they start to talk about the music, right? And La'an asks, because she's kind of in the situation where she doesn't really understand what's going on. She asks, why would they make music like we do? Because, this is the understanding that we understand music, octaves, levels, right? And then Spock did a good job by explaining that music is math is universal. And I thought that was great because in previous shows, they might have left off this exposition and leaving us wondering the same question, like how come it's, different, but they actually take the time to science through it, which is something that we love about Star Trek.
And that is science. You want to upvote there?
Yeah.
I'm going to give an upvote too, because that is actual science. When we send out our, right now in our present time, when SETI is sending out messages to deep space. Now, there's an argument that should say maybe they shouldn't be sending messages to deep space.
Maybe they shouldn't be letting people know we're here.
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't be letting everyone know where we're at. But either way, they're doing it, and the message they're sending out is mathematics and music for that same purpose. Music is mathematics, tones, octaves. Like, these are our words for it, but it does follow a mathematical principle, which is a universal. Mathematics is a universal language. So I did like that very much. And so they started communicating it. So what do you think about Spock's little pep talk?
I don't know. I'm just not sure it's necessary. I'm just the whole thing where they did not do a good job of making Uhura, and it already got my downvote earlier. They did not do a good job of making it seem like Uhura is on the fence with Starfleet. I just don't get that vibe from everything that's happening, and they're kind of forcing this into the storyline. And I'll be honest with you, they kind of failed at the beginning. They should have made her more uncertain about being there, and they did nothing but really make the character pretty wonderful. And I just haven't gotten that vibe.
Yeah, maybe they should have been a little more clear that she likes it here, but this is probably a stepping stone for her onto something.
Yeah, it would have been good to have a comment where I'm not sure if I'm going to see it through. I'm not sure what I'm going to do from here. And maybe something happened in episode 1 that I'm forgetting, but as far as this episode goes, I did not get that feel.
Yeah. Okay. Man, she's so pretty though. Okay. All right. So that's
yeah. The music itself. Can we do that one?
Yeah.
So I thought there was something that was really good here is that Uhura has a really nice melodic voice. Mm-hmm. Like this character, this actor obviously can sing. And which was a good throwback because Nichelle Nichols had an episode of TOS where she had to actually sing. They were being forced. And so she had to, and she had a beautiful voice.
And in the
so
movies.
I thought that was a nice tie-in. And the movies, yep. So that was a really nice tie-in that, you know, her character does have that. And I started to get a little nervous because I actually had to go back and watch it a second time because I did not like Spock harmonizing with her at first. But when you go back and watch it a second time, and so it was going to get a downvote from me, but it's not now because when you go back, you can tell he's uncomfortable and doesn't really want to do it. But La'an put him in a position where basically he has to.
Right.
And I feel like he would do it if it meant them, you know, somehow getting out.
Right. This is a scientific exercise. This is not
right. But it was all a little, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's personally not for me great, but it was okay.
I mean, I like that that's how they chose to communicate with it, because normally if you're going to communicate with a dead species or an AI from a completely different galaxy, it's going to take you years to understand it.
Right.
The fact that they figured out music, and that's a fast track to being able to understand this thing, is okay. That's like the key. That's like the language key. Oh, it's music based. Okay. Now let's figure out what tones are. The fastest way to make this happen was for it to be music based or math based, which is essentially math based.
Yes, I did have a downvote. Is it opened up yet?
No, not yet.
Did it flower up?
Yeah, well, no, it's opening up. Yeah. So what do you want to talk about the opening up thing?
Well, I did have a downvote, and it was that, you know, basically Lieutenant Kirk's, you know, he's going to die if they don't get him back to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can't figure out what to do. They're doing these melodic things, and it's apparent that she thinks that, you know, they think that it's trying to communicate with them. And so then Uhura says, let me try something. And then she does this humming, and then the force field's down. And this bothered me. This is actually a downvote for me.
Okay.
Because there's no explanation of what she was thinking or what she did or how she knew to lower the force field by using that humming. And they kind of leave that off. I feel like I really needed to know what she tried and why she was thinking it.
Right.
Other than she just gets to do that. You know what I mean? And that was a little bit of, I didn't really like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna drop a downvote there too, because you're right. Actually, I'm gonna let that clear out because I didn't give it enough vote for the music itself, because I like the fact they use music, but I think you're right. The fact, how did she know right away what that music meant?
Right, it seemed to have come to her, but you know, we didn't really get to see inside of that, which a little cheating to me.
Interesting thing would be like, is it just like, it means off, it means on? I don't know. You know?
Oh, yeah, or she could have said something like, you know, she could have said that means off or something. So she could have said something quickly that like indicated that she had solved the problem and then tried something and it worked.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay. So they get the shields down. Now, what about this gamble with the shepherds?
You know, I have another downvote. Although I'm not sure it's really a downvote. No, go ahead and leave it up. I just thought it was kind of uncharacteristic. You know, the Enterprise is getting jacked here pretty hard by this other ship, and they're in danger. And Pike was joking while under fire, and I just thought that was a little bit not the right tone, you know. And I get that they make jokes and kind of the whole thing, but there are moments when, you know, if they can really destroy you, you know, and you're, you know, they were down to 40%, I think, on, I don't know. He was just kind of joking around. I think he said some sort of joke to Spock or something. And I just thought that was a little bit out of character.
Oh yeah. Okay. But what do you think
maybe nitpicky, but you know. What
do you think about the way they sort of checkmated the shepherds?
I mean, I thought that was cool. There were some good visuals. I did think that that I don't believe I've ever, you know, he went up to Ortegas and he said, you know, I know you think, you know, you said you're going to be the best Starfleet pilot, you know, to ever come out of Starfleet or whatever. You will prove it. And then she gives like a command, which you don't see. It's always the captain that gives the command maneuver. Mm-hmm. And so he basically left it up to her to do whatever maneuver she wanted to do to get him to safety, which is not typical for Star Trek. And I would actually probably give that a downvote.
Okay.
It ended up working out okay, and it was cool, and they visually showed it. that it was cool and that was all right.
Right.
And they needed to show that character's specialty at some point. But yeah, I guess if she doesn't say it's her maneuver, I guess we don't know she's a good pilot. I've always wondered that was Star Trek. You know, when the captain says, you know, it gives a maneuver for them to do, I mean, does the pilot push the button and it happens? Does the pilot have to read it? You know, we don't know the sensitivities and how that works. And
right.
You don't really get a sense that being a great pilot is happening there on the bridge of the Enterprise.
Well, maybe the maneuver is like loading their macro keys. Like maybe they have keys and the maneuver is what sort of like sets up their, you know, their controls specific to that maneuver. Because like
I think so. Yeah.
I use multiple like macro devices, Stream Decks and G13s, and I have different profiles. Like I have like Photoshop and After Effects, and like I have to set it for what program I'm going to use. The controls are the same, but the buttons all change up depending on what my maneuver is.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's exactly what's happening here. And they did a good job showing it, you know, doing some pretty incredible maneuvering. It was actually something I loved, and I can give it an upvote because they actually did make me feel like I understood what was happening during the battle, how they escaped, and it felt almost like a submarine maneuver or some sort of old TOS, the way they would have, you know, showed escaping by going through the asteroid field and setting up on the other side, you know, just doing these things. I thought that was good.
Yeah. Okay. So the way they played sort of chicken with, you know, Pike realized how religious or zealot or whatever these people were about the Comet. And they sort of forced them to make a decision. Either you save us, or the Comet hits us, and we go, and the Comet goes.
I thought that was really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to give this a downvote. I did not understand something. So I know that they were damaged to some degree, but they didn't look like they were crippled. They were managed to do this incredible maneuvering, get through the asteroid field, set up on the other side of the asteroid. So it didn't make sense to me why they needed rescue from the Shepherd ship.
I don't think they actually did. I think
great. So what was the decoy?
I think Enterprise was the decoy. I think that they said that they needed help because if they didn't get help, that the ship that they were going to explode or whatever, and that process was the decoy to allow Spock to slip by and do what he had to do.
Well, see, I thought that was weird. So I would tend to agree with that, although it did not look obvious. And Spock was already like attached to part of one of the floating asteroids, separated pieces when that had already occurred. He was already out. So I just didn't understand why they needed to do that.
Because they need the ship to be focused on rescuing the Enterprise so they can't go after the shuttle.
So they wouldn't notice the shuttle. Okay, I'll give that to them. I felt like it was a little. That wasn't obvious to me.
They have to tractor beam or whatever the Enterprise. They can't obviously go after the shuttle.
Well, I'm assuming they never even, because the shuttle was hiding, so they never saw the shuttle at all. They didn't know the shuttle was involved. I don't believe it didn't seem. They didn't at least say that they were aware of the shuttle. So if it was a decoy, I wanted it to be that, because that's something that I think Pike would do, or that Kirk would do, like lie to get them to do something. But then I started thinking, wait, he really need to be saved? Did the ship really need to be helped, or no?
I don't think they really need to be saved. I think
okay.
I think that it was a deception.
Okay.
And which is why they were so casual about it. But they also knew that it was risky, because if they saw through the deception, they knew they were going to blow Spock out of the sky.
Okay, so if they were able to see him, okay, so okay, that's cool. I
want to keep your downvote there?
I am going to keep the downvote. Yeah, okay. I just felt like that wasn't very clear to me.
Yeah, it wasn't very clear, but I think I understand it. So,
okay.
All right. So Spock overloads his shields or something, whatever, and gets real hot or whatever, and breaks up the Comet. I'm not.
Well, I want to go ahead. See, I love how you just said like, does this,
because I don't really
whatever,
understand
whatever,
the science
whatever.
behind this. Do you know?
Okay, there's no science. There's no explanation. Downvote here, big time. Okay, because we end up learning later that it was sublimation nudged the Comet out of course. Okay, let me tell you what sublimation is. Okay, sublimation is the process of changing from a solid to a gas without passing through an intermediate liquid phase. So
So it's when something is so hot that you go from
Yeah.
ice to gas before liquid, and it
Before-
expands and creates an explosion.
Basically. Okay. Now we don't know that. The one thing that this big reason why the downvote is they send Spock off to do this thing without ever really telling us what they're going to do or giving us some sort of even an indication of what they're going to do. And then we see Spock. He's flying through the nucleus of the comet. Okay. Very odd thing as well. And he tells Pike tells the Shepherd ship what he needs, the help, and while Spock's doing this. And then somehow, and we never actually see this, he nudges a piece of ice loose. Not something we ever see in the show. We see him doing a lot of flying. It looks like it's hot. It looks like something's going on. And then boom, everything's okay. That was not good. Right. They did not show us Spock successfully doing anything. It had to be explained to us later by Uhura right at the very end. And I felt like that was more telling and less showing. And so that got that downvote for me.
And what's interesting is they actually did show a healthy portion of him flying the ship. So all they had to do was pick those shots better to at least illustrate more what they explain later on. Like, so maybe they do have to explain a little bit with the sublimation and all that. Not everyone knows what that is. But actually show that, like illustrate what she says later on, would have made more sense. You're right.
There was just no explanation and no way for us to know. And, I had to go back and watch it twice in order to really grasp it. And that's, and it's not a matter of just being so intelligent and so smart and so sciencey that I just didn't get it. It was really just not properly, guiding us through the story at the end.
Okay. I'm going to give that a downvote too. Cause I glossed over it in my mind, but yeah, you're right. Cause that is a problem with current, like not just Star Trek, but a lot of TV is like they rely so much on telling you what's happening instead of showing you, and it's not really necessary. They could just show you. They could show you that process. They already showed it's not like he took off from the Comet and then the ship to do what he's got to do, and we just saw him on a tracker. No, they actually created an animation of him doing what he was doing. So illustrate that animation properly, right?
Yeah, they could have done that, or we could have had a quick little meeting, a powwow, something, Spock saying, I got an idea. I think we can dislodge part of the asteroid and create an explosion, or anything giving us that kind of idea, and then show us, so that we know what's happening, we can follow, because it kind of gets even a little more silly as we get kind of towards the end. And apparently the comet can see the future.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, I get that but that's what they say.
No, I have an idea about that. We'll get there.
Okay. Well, I mean, I got to say that's kind of what it alluded to. We never really get an understanding about the AI that's happening into it, but it's not AI. It's not even AI. It's sentient.
Some kind of sentient something.
It is some sort of sentient for it to be able to pass these messages. And so, when you get to that part of Uhura, I'll try to talk more about it.
Okay. So he's successful in what he was doing. Now, this is when Spock laughs.
Yeah.
And the way, and I can't play it because we'll get claimed, but the way it came off to me was like they were all shocked that he was laughing, and he was like, sometimes when something goes so badly, you just have to laugh. I think he was not laughing. Like he purposely laughed over comms. Like he wasn't laughing to himself. He activated comms and laughed and then made that point. So I think it was him understanding the human expression of sometimes something goes so badly you have to laugh.
I mean, yeah, it's possible. And the laugh doesn't bother me as much because, I mean, in the original Cage TV show, he's a very smiley, happy, laughy Spock. So, I mean, that's canon. That's, even though it's not the Spock we end up with on, the Kirk Enterprise, it's definitely a Pike Spock. So it's not that wild to have it happen. You just have to remind yourself that it's okay.
Okay. All right. So they start talking about the large quantity of water vapor from the Comet. Starts hitting the atmosphere.
I really looked at that deeply because I was concerned that because they talked about the fact that the water vapor, and this is the way it was described, is that a a large quantity of water vapor was released into Persephone 3. And I went like looking for it. I'm like, could one comet like change? Because Spock says it's going to change everything. Like it's going to change their vegetation. It's going to give them all this water. It's going to basically make it, the way it made it seem was more Earth-like. And so I was like thinking this is going to be a downvote because it's not going to work out. But after doing a lot more research, it is possible for a comet to give up to 10% of the liquid necessary. Like 10%, one comet could have given us 10% of our liquid on Earth, which would have been enough to change things. Now, does that mean that Persephone 3 is going to become Earth-like? No. I also went and looked up if it's possible to see if a desert planet could support an atmosphere, because I was concerned that a planet without water may not be able to have an atmosphere. But apparently, you do not need water vapor to have a human breathable atmosphere.
Right. And so that planet, from what I gather, a lot of their water comes from underground. There's not as much water. And so it's a rough place to live. But, with that comet kicking up another 10% of water, that's enough to sort of make it way more of a livable, bearable place.
Right. So I'm going to give it an upvote. Even though I was going to downvote it, I am going to upvote it because even though it seems a little bit highly unlikely, it's backed by science. And what we love with Star Trek is that they do the research, unlike some of the other shows have done, and they find out if it's truly viable. And everything that I could find showed that this, at least while being stretched kind of wildly, is at least somewhat backed by science. And so I felt like that was appropriate.
Yeah, I actually read about there was a theory that a lot of some of the water that was deposited here on Earth, and even organisms, a million years ago, or whatever, came from comets.
That is the main theory of how water got to Earth, asteroids and comets. And so that's what they're doing here. They're basically making this association that these intelligent comets, these sentient brained comets, maybe they went around the universe or the solar system, seeding planets basically, and making them be able to sustain life. Maybe so. This was kind of like a way to explain something that we're already talking about, is like, how did life start on Earth? And maybe this is, in Star Trek lore, maybe this is one of the ways it happens.
Yeah, there's a couple theories about like how, the reason why most species are bipedal is because they came from the same preservers or whatever. Remember in Star Trek?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's true. The water is always fascinating, and this is just a nice little different way. And it's good. It's good Trek. It's good. It's good. It's good. Interesting.
Yeah.
They get a little bit loosey goosey here with some of their explanations, which if we get there, I'll give it a downvote. But
I like how they parted as friends. They're like, next time, don't be so quick to judge or in other cultures or whatever. Which is fine.
I thought that was a nice little, and that was a great way. This is what we love about Star Trek. Even if you agree or disagree with what people do, they manage to sneak in a message, right, about judging other cultures by using an alien civilization and not our own trouble here on Earth. And that's what we love about old Trek. And that's one of the things, upvote here. Yeah, that's one of the other things that we love
I'm giving upvote
about Strange New Worlds. Because they're getting back to letting us learn our lessons through alien issues instead of, showcasing Earth not getting along. So,
yeah, you won't be so quick to judge the faith of others. That was great. Good. Yeah. Good. It worked. And I love this scene. I love it.
Oh, the rain.
I love this scene. I love these aliens.
That was cool.
It's not good enough for an upvote, but it was cool. Plus, I already upvoted the aliens. I'm not going to upvote them twice.
Yeah. They got your upvote.
Okay. So they're talking about the comments. How many other comments are there out there? Okay, cool idea. That that's like super Star Trek right there. Introduce an idea, and you might never pay it off, but us nerds are going to talk about it for the next 25 years.
This is true.
You know what I mean? So thank you for yet another piece of lore that doesn't hurt canon, that allows us to theorize, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the music contained this image, and so this is the interesting part. This is, I know you want a downvote here, right?
There's some stretching going on here for sure.
Okay. So I don't think that it was seeing the future. I think it was seeing the statistical. I can't say the word statistic because of my mouth.
Statistical. Uh-huh.
Future. Right? This entire thing's language is based on math and music.
They
It's
should have
project-
said that though.
Okay, so let me get you in, and I'll
Okay.
agree. I agree with you, but it knows where it's heading. It knows what that planet needs, and it knows what help it needs and how it needs to what needs to happen exactly for this outcome to happen. If you know your exact trajectory and how much time and everything, right? A machine can 100% predict the future and what needs to happen in said future for it to be successful, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think Spock should have when they were all talking about faith and all that, Spock should have been like, or it was simply mathematics.
I mean, yeah, that would have been cool, but I think they took an opportunity. They made a mistake essentially then. And so the mistake is that they had the exact, so Uhura shows the picture. It's the exact same picture, right? Which you got to explain to me how they got a picture out of math numbers, but okay.
They should have shown a slightly different shape.
They didn't need to show us a shape at all. They just simply needed to say that was the mistake was they showed us a big iceberg,
right.
And what they should have just said was, the chunk of ice is the same chunk of ice that it said, so yes, mathematically it knew which chunk of ice inside of it that needed to be knocked loose in order to move it the appropriate amount of distance. Instead of making it some sort of like it can see the future or some sort of weird like theological type of discussion, it could have simply been science.
Well, because
I think they missed an opportunity to do that.
It sent a message with the plan ahead of time. They didn't get or decipher the message appropriately at the time. The outcome was still the same. Yeah. But what if it was sending the message for that purpose? Like, yo, come help me. Come help me.
I think it was sending the message, but they just mystified it a little bit instead of just making it a science thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they could have just left it alone. They didn't need to mystify it, and maybe it's a bit nitpicky, but it when you take that and you add it to the fact that they didn't really show us what Spock was doing, and you add both of these things together, it just kind of makes for kind of weak storytelling going into the end.
You're right. And you could have not shown the image. You could have expressed the same information, not shown the image, and then you could have literally had Spock button it up with, or it's mathematics.
Or it's mathematics, which would have been great way to just, to put the exclamation point on Spock being Spock. And then everybody's like, all right, it's mathematics.
Yeah. So I guess that deserves a downvote, unfortunately, because it wasn't played out correctly.
And mine's a 6. So mine should have been a 6.
Oh, right. Okay. And what we got? That's pretty much the end, right? What about this?
So they had the callback here.
Yeah. What about this conversation here?
I thought it was good. I mean, it just shows the characters kind of growing together and him basically giving his approval now. It took, she proved herself. Now Spock gave the approval that she could now be a part of Starfleet, which I thought was awfully presumptuous that he feels like he has that sort of authority on whether she should be in Starfleet or not. But I wasn't, I'm not going to nitpick over it.
Okay. All right. So it looks like overall here.
Oh, the last scene. Yeah.
Okay, the last scene. Okay, yeah, you're right. When he's looking at the kids or whatever, right?
Yeah. So he shows the 4 kids, 5 kids, looks like, that he saves. It just shows that your fate is what you make it. And he's definitely contemplating, what that may mean for his future. And I believe he's starting to believe that maybe he can change something that's going to happen. And it's left on that hopefulness that we like Star Trek to be left on.
Right. Yeah. Which I like. Is it worth an upvote or a downvote?
I didn't feel like it was strong enough to be an upvote or downvote, but so I'm going to stay pat where I'm at.
Okay. All right. So that buttons us up here, and looks like.
Oh, can I give an overall? I am going to give an overall upvote just for the overall show, still being light years better than anything Discovery or Picard has done in the first 6 seasons of those shows.
That's fair. Okay, so that would I'm not going to do that because I did that at the top of the show actually.
Okay.
So I gave my upvote for that exact same reason at the top. So here's the deal. That puts us at me 5, Shane 7, and I think that's an average of 6.
Yeah.
Right? Am I doing the math right? I hope I'm doing the math right.
And that we didn't really figure out how we're going to do the math on. Is that what it
We're
is?
just going to average out the numbers, right?
We're supposed to know how many. Well, the way it's supposed to be is like we're supposed to know how many instances of up or down voting there was, so we could figure out a percentage.
Well, in this case, when we downvote and upvote at the same time, it sort of adjusts itself.
Okay.
So we just average out the scores, and I think we average out the scores to a rock hard 6.
Yes. What does 6 mean?
I mean, it's 6.
We don't know yet. we're gonna make this a little bit more interesting. Brian spent a lot of time trying to figure this out, but I think we need one more factor. We need to know how many votes we gave in order to know whether or not to create a percentage or to create some sort of another factor.
You gave it 7 upvotes on average,
right? But
because you had downvotes and upvotes,
right? But you don't know how many votes in total there were.
I think you're overthinking it, because
that's the only way to know how, if it's a 15 scale and it was a 7, then we got to know how many votes there are. That's the only way to figure it out.
I think
what does a 6 mean? Does 6 good? Is it bad?
6 is good. It's a positive score, because right now.
So I see what you're saying. There's more positive votes than negatives.
Right. Okay. So listen,
it's not a negative score. Okay.
If we were reviewing Picard season 2, episode 4 right now, this would be like
it'd be around a 0,
negative 23.
Well, it probably would have been 0 or negative 1, maybe.
Okay. For me,
ups and downs.
Right. Okay, sure. But there was so many downs. It would have been negative like 6 for me, I think.
Okay.
Maybe for
so
you.
You're saying there would have been a lot more. I got it.
Right. So,
okay.
As this goes on, we can go back and actually see our highest scored episodes.
Okay. So this is a 6 for both of us.
This is 6, which is not bad at all.
Podcast 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Positive 6. All right.
It's obviously,
so you guys heard it here
but...
first.
Yeah.
Let's go back and see what what our folks talked about here.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. Let's see. Oh, so they're joking about Danny the Dork Knights here. He's talking about what? Enterprise? Thank God that was a joke. And then question of Trek, who doesn't love Faith of the Heart from the beginning? So, and then Norman Buckwald, Faith of the Heart, ugh. So we have some strong opinions about Enterprise's theme song still.
Yeah. Look, guys, if you like the song, that's fine. Music.
Okay, go ahead.
Music's subjective. It's subjective. So if you like that song, great. I'm happy for you.
All right.
I've got faith. But I don't think it's subjective to say it's not good as the intro to a Star Trek TV show. Maybe you like the song, but it's not good as the intro.
Was it good with the visual images of all of the different enterprises through time?
No, but see, that doesn't matter, because
it does.
The second you apply a pop song to anything, it dates said IP as something late 90s, early 2000s.
I think that's fair.
That's why a cinematic score is a timeless thing.
I mean, I agree in that case, but I will say there is no other show that I listened to that over and over again. I enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
I also liked Creed and Nickelback, so you can shoot me if you want right now. So that's
everyone tell Shane about his taste here. He likes Creed and Nickelback.
I also like the Bee Gees. Come on, you can throw me under the bus right now if you want.
Yeah, Shane's like ultimate super band would be if Creed and Nickelback got together and did a song together.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's torture for me. I'm sorry.
Let's see. So we've got got some good Chucky Babbitt and Offspring here. The Ainars.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the Ainars and Hemmer's character also being telepathic, which was important. We didn't mention because Spock sent him a telepathic thought that he was throwing the thing for him to catch. Remember?
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah, which I like that though.
That was cool. No, I liked it a lot. What if this whole series ends up being his illusion on Talos 4? Just shut up, Doomed. Don't even go there.
No.
That would, although that is something that they would do on Talos 4.
No, don't tell me that. I don't want.
No, we're not doing a Pike fever dream.
Yeah,
but that is funny.
Uh.
Let's see. Maybe Pike's death is like Spock's have been dead before. Okay. Josh Temple, did he see himself in the chair in Discovery? So he did see he lived. So yes, they screwed up again. It's possible it's a mistake, Josh. It's possible. We don't know at this point. Let's see. David went out to dinner. Hope you had a great dinner, David.
What's up, Dark Knight? How you doing, bro?
Okay, Salty Trekker says she should not be. That's Michael. Michael's been, we just want to point out also that the Salty Trekker, Michael has been working with us. He's going to be doing some stuff with us in the future, which is going to be fun. And he says here, she should not be a cadet at all. She should be a midshipman. And I got to tell you, Michael, as a prior Navy guy, that's exactly what they were called, midshipmen.
Where are you seeing that?
And it's a comment up here.
Oh.
And I would like, that would be great if they use that term, but unfortunately, I don't know if Starfleet has actually adopted the Navy terminology.
No, they should have.
Let's see. Spock's a player. Yep, where we learned that.
A straight thug.
Okay. Offspring, they had the old communicator from TOS in Discovery. They did. You're right.
Kenneth said, who, the Bee Gees?
So Trek reviewer says, have they given Hemmer a proper rank yet? You know, I didn't notice that in this episode.
Yeah, neither did I.
He was wearing a Starfleet uniform, so, but I didn't catch his rank. If you know his rank, let us know here. Oh, they look like this. Okay, so he's talking about the Shepherds here. Wingrace says they looked like the Stargate universe aliens with a beard, which is funny because I thought they looked like Thor's aliens.
Asgard.
The Asgards.
Yeah.
I thought they looked like the Asgards with beards. That's funny.
They looked a little bit like Asgard with beards, for sure.
John Burns, doesn't Spock with a beard make him look evil? Hey, that's Mirror Universe Spock, right?
Yeah, that means in Discovery, he was the evil Spock.
So there's all kinds of really good comments in here. We appreciate you guys bringing them up. Let's see.
Here's the deal, boys.
Okay, that's the end of the review.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for sticking around for the review. We're going to get in some more news here. If you have anything to say about the review, what did you think about the show? What did you think about, what do you think so far about the show in general? But specifically, what did you think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you agree with us? Did you disagree with us? Are we crazy? Is Shane doing way too much work trying to find out how comets work? Let us know in the comment section down below.
Yeah.
All right.
We appreciate it.
What's next here, man? Oh, okay. All right. So there's some interesting news. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there is possibly going to be a brand new Enterprise in Picard season 3. Now, at first, hold on, let me do this right. There's going to be a new Enterprise in Picard season 3. And I got to say, when I first read this, I thought, oh, well, that's just like fans really want to see a new Enterprise. But if this is going to be the latest we see, realistically, I mean, not ignoring Discovery, the latest we see in a long time, Starfleet and Picard and the whole in the universe that we love so much in Star Trek. And if this is the last season of Picard, it would make a whole lot of sense to give the fans another the final Enterprise, right? For now, right? So here's what I'm thinking. This is from Trek Central, and it says, "Is there a new Enterprise on the horizon?" Well, at first I would have said no, it's just fan service. But I think that from what we've seen the last couple seasons of Picard, and this being the last season of Picard, makes complete sense for there to be an Enterprise. And here's some of the information we got. This is what it says. The USS Stargazer has been our new focus for season 2 of Star Trek Picard. The new ship was designed by Dave Blass, looks nice, as well as Trek veterans Doug Drexler and John Evans, or Eves. However, while the ship has been featured in behind-the-scene pictures, it might not be the focus for Star Trek Season 3, Picard Season 3. And here's where he says that. In a tweet from Terry Matalas, Eric Johnson says, should we take this to indicate that the Stargazer is a part of Season 3? And Terry Matalas says, that is not the Stargazer.
I love how they call him the Star Trek's resident leaker teaser, Terry Matalas, because he does tend to give away some things.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, Terry Matalas is the showrunner of season 2 and 3, but mainly season 3 because he was co-showrunner on season 3 and Akiva Goldsman did the majority of the work.
Season 2, yeah.
I'm sorry, season 2. But in season 3, he is the sole showrunner for season 3. And we believe that we're going to see a very strong final season because Terry Matalas, and we I believe in Terry Matalas because everything else he's done prior to Star Trek and inside the Star Trek universe and Voyager, whatever, was very good. He understands story. He understands how to keep you interested. He understands how to, first off, he understands how to start and finish a series, which is very important. But yeah, he's going to be a showrunner for season 3. So he says, that is not the Stargazer. Well, surprisingly, the Stargazer bridge is being used again for another starship, it would seem. However, what ship is that going to be?
Could it be the Enterprise F?
It must be. Additionally, this is not the first or last time Star Trek reuses bridges for new Star Trek starships and such. So it is not surprise. So it's not a surprise, but does suggest we're getting a new starship of sorts in the upcoming 3rd season of Star Trek Picard. Now, I'm going to stop the article here because it has to be the Enterprise F.
I mean, it just makes sense, right? Like we're going to go out with a bang,
Right.
It should be that way. Who's the captain?
Right. So even if you're a bad writer, let's say you're a horrible writer and you have no idea how to write a season of Star Trek.
Okay.
You know what the Enterprise is, and you know the ultimate Easter egg and the ultimate talking point for a Star Trek fan would be the Enterprise F.
It'd be fantastic.
Right. And the fact that Terry Matalas went out of his way to say that is not the Stargazer really makes me believe that it must be the Enterprise F, which led me to sort of go back and look through other versions of the Enterprise. And remember that episode of Star Trek Enterprise where they like go into the future and they're seeing like the different, he's on the bridge of like an Enterprise in like a 500 years from now or something, right?
You're talking about the finale?
No. When during like the temporal Cold War, I forgot the guy's name, but the guy who looks like a giant baby in a Starfleet uniform.
Yeah.
He takes them to a version of the Enterprise that's way in the future. And there's like Xindi that like, so apparently Xindi are serving aboard the ship. They're part of Starfleet, blah, blah, blah. Well, that ship was very sleek and very, I hate to say it, very Discovery looking. It looked like a Star Trek Discovery ship.
Okay.
In hindsight, I think I know where they got their ideas for design from before when it came to Star Trek Discovery going 1,000 years in the future. I think they got it from Enterprise.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
But this is not going to be that far in the future. This is going to be an era of starships that we have really never seen as far as the Enterprise class starship in. And I like some of this cool like Odyssey class, and some of this like concept art is really cool. But I hope that they don't make, when they do this, because I'm convinced they're going to, I hope they don't make it look like the Voyager style. I don't want it to look like that sort of like arrowhead shape. And
Yeah.
a lot of the concept art I've seen has this style, this sort of Voyager. I forgot the name of what the name of the type ship it was, but like that. They abandoned the idea of that like almost oblong hull that the Enterprise in TNG is so known for, and they go with that like sort of sleek, almost arrowhead shape. And I would like to see what's that. Go ahead.
It needs to look like the Enterprise, no matter what happens.
Right. Yeah, it's got to look like the Enterprise. It's not like the Voyager, not like
some new ship, not like some new other thing that we've never seen before.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get to, but apparently my brain doesn't like to connect dots. Shane, you're completely right. It needs to look like the Enterprise, not like Stargazer 2.0, not like Voyager 3.0. It needs to look like the Enterprise. And please do me a favor, Terry Metalis, if you ever hear this, go to the people that designed the Enterprise for Strange New Worlds and get them to update your TNG Enterprise.
Yep.
Whoever those people are.
Yep.
Whoever they are, please find them and have them create that Enterprise, because they understand the concept of updating and remastering the visual appeal that we see when we see the Enterprise at that time period.
I totally agree. And I got to tell you, just to jump in here really quick, I want there to be an Enterprise F in this Picard season 3. And I think the fan service will be like, yes, we want the Enterprise. We see in the trailer, Picard going through his drawer and pulling out the red, Starfleet uniform, which, makes you think, oh my God, he's going to be the captain on the bridge again. And so you kind of have that feeling, but there is something that we need to put out here that's been kind of communicated. It's that we are likely to see the cast of TNG throughout season 3, but not all at the same time throughout the season. So there is, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade here, anybody's hope, but just kind of, get it in the back of your mind that if we do see the Enterprise, it may be different, and we may not see it if in fact over the 10 episodes we're not going to have all of the crew at all the same time, which is what's been discussed.
Andrew, that honestly, we have to get a parting shot with them all together.
I think they're going to. I mean, Patrick Stewart did say like the ending was phenomenal for season 3. It was emotional, but it was not fan service entirely. So that's very curious to me as to what's going to happen. But even Metalis, everybody's saying the conclusion is appropriate and good for TNG, the fans, and everybody. And I do trust Terry now that he's got the reins by himself. He didn't start the shit show that is Picard in season 1 with Michael Chabon. He's got to take what happened. They're the ones that convinced him, and Goldsman convinced Patrick Stewart to actually allow the TNG crew to come back in more than a cameo role situation. He didn't want to do that, that's something that we're going to talk about soon. So it's very interesting that, it's Metalis driving this. It's the changes that are coming in Trek. And so hopefully we will get that good ending that we want.
Yeah. And that's, you guys, stay tuned, because on Saturday we should be dropping a video about some insight we got from Patrick Stewart. He didn't really want the TNG crew, and it was, I'm not going to say pushed on him, but it was definitely, he had to be convinced. So the thing about Terry Metalis is that we do trust him, but we haven't actually seen him really operate at his full ability yet, because he has been a co-showrunner and not a full showrunner. That said, though, I do believe that if they, like I said before, if they don't finish this season with a shot of them all in the bar or whatever, I'm going to be pissed, because the last 2 seasons, we got a shot of Picard with all of his new friends. So we better see Picard with his old crew at the end of the season.
On a positive note, a lot of those new friends aren't coming back because of those old friends. So they couldn't carry them all. And that's why a lot of them are leaving. So they had 3-season deals. This was supposed to be a 3-season show from the beginning. And all the characters we got in season 1 were supposed to roll through all 3 seasons. But as you can see, they're falling off like dead flies or something.
Right. They tell him, it's like, oh yeah, hey, listen, we're bringing this guy back, so you're gone. We're bringing this guy.
Yeah, we
you're
don't
gone.
need you anymore. Thank you.
We need these. You're out. Okay, yeah. So Voyager was an Intrepid class. Thank you. I completely forgot what that was. And the time travel giant baby boy was Daniels. And I'm only saying,
why did you call him a baby? He doesn't look like a baby.
He has a baby face. I like Daniels. I'm just saying that like the actor that played him looked so young in that role.
Well, he was supposed to, because remember he was Archer's like cabin boy. I don't want to call him cabin. He was like his steward or steward.
Whatever it is, he always reminded me of like if a giant baby wore a Starfleet uniform.
Right.
I still like the show. I'm just saying that's what it looked like. Yeah, so Intrepid class. Yeah, I saw the concept art for the Enterprise F from STO Question of Trek. And it's okay. It just doesn't feel like someone put a lot of effort into it, clearly, and that's fine. But I gotta be honest, you need to get the same people that built the Strange New World Enterprise. That's it. If you don't get those same people, you're making a mistake.
Yeah, I love this comment here about making Worf the captain of the Enterprise.
Absolutely. And
then spinning off a Worf series.
Yes.
Could you imagine exploring like the Klingon world in 2402 to 2410?
Yeah.
And what's going on there and kind of everything that Worf's been through. Worf's a very complicated character.
Right.
With a deep story that could be totally interesting to go after. And what we do know so far is that while they've only committed to the 5 current shows we have on Star Trek, once Discovery reaches its end game, which probably is in the next season or 2, and Picard's going to roll out at season 3, they're going to have to replace that with other Star Trek because Paramount Plus ain't going to let it go. So unless they can lock down Michelle Yeoh, who was just in movies, this new movie's like whatever.
Oh, she did so good in that movie.
She was great in that movie, right? Michelle Yeoh, her stock's going up,
Yeah.
And she may not be available to do your Star Trek show.
Let me rephrase that. She will not be available.
They gotta have to get her quick.
Yeah, real
she's
quick.
Great.
They gotta lock her in real quick. Yeah. This movie is doing gangbusters. She's making so much money for that little studio. It's crazy.
Her star is on the rise, and she's going to outclass Star Trek, unfortunately, here real soon.
Yeah, I'd like to say when we first started reviewing Star Trek Discovery back in the day, one of the very first things I said was I really love Michelle Yeoh. So
yeah, she was one of the things we loved. Well, one of the only things we love about Discovery, especially even going into season 3. Right? She was literally in season 3 the only thing I liked about.
Right. Yeah.
Discovery, and then they got rid of her too. So
okay, so we're gonna move on. Before we do not forget to hit that subscribe button on the way to the comment section to let us know what you guys think about a brand new Enterprise F for Picard season 3.
Archmage Frey, Wesley Crusher, overreacting Gary Seven show. No, thank you, Archmage.
Because we run everything.
No, thank you. No, thank you, Archmage. We'll pass on that one.
Is what I would say if I was a complete moron.
Oh,
you guys don't even know. I have so many of these. Like, I have so many of...
Here's the deal, boys.
Oh man, we're gonna get a lot of mileage.
Wesley all the time.
We're gonna get a lot of mileage from Wesley coming up here. All right, so sad to say, but looks like we are about to go to the members section.
Oh man, that's a bummer. All right, well, we appreciate you guys. Make sure, once again, thank you to our sponsor, Liquid IV. Go check it out. Use the coupon code the Popcast to get 25% off. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to save so much money by using that coupon code. Go to the website, click on the link, do the thing, buy the stuff. We appreciate it supporting the show.
Okay, if you guys don't know how the member section works, it's really simple. We're going to we'll leave the audio on here for a while, but if you look at the link in the description, the very first thing you see, and I'll go ahead and put it in the chat here for you too. There it is. That is where I can't speak. That is where we are going to continue the show. And what we're going to be talking about in that section of the show is Amazon's Rings of Power. Very interesting presentation. They sort of wined and dined a bunch of Tolkien experts and YouTubers, and people's opinions.
They wined and dined them.
They really
That
did.
just sounds so wrong. I know, but it just sounds wrong.
But people's opinions of Rings of Power are changing drastically, and I have a big theory about that.
I do too.
Also, Upload is renewed for season 3. Apparently, last time I reported this, I was wrong.
Oh, really?
So I reported that it was had been renewed when it hadn't have been, because I was reading from one of those websites that are just clickbait.
Giant freaking robot.
It must have been Giant Freaking Robot, because in Deadline they're talking about Upload, and there's a lot more details. So we're gonna get into that because we both love that show. We're gonna be talking about Avatar 2. A trailer for Avatar 2. I can care less about Avatar, but everyone's talking about it, so we need to look at the trailer.
That'll make everybody excited to come to the member section and watch.
Well, here's the deal.
I don't care about Avatar.
This is the first time I'm seeing Avatar 2 trailer. I have not seen it yet. I think this is the first time Shane's seeing it. So we're gonna.
I saw it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna. You're. My eyes are fresh here.
Okay.
I didn't necessarily enjoy Avatar. I don't know what the big deal is about it. But
James
you know what?
baby.
If this gets me going, if this gets me on track, then hey, they did a good job. We're gonna find that out. And of course, it's the first time I'm hearing about it. A Metal Gear Solid movie is still happening, says Oscar Isaac, whose stock is pretty hot right now considering his involvement in Disney stuff. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to the member section. I would love it if you guys also came to the member section. We're going to start the show taking your guys' comments and just chatting. And then we're going to drop a little sneak peek on our video dropping on Saturday. And then from there, we're going to have some more fun. So I hope you can join us in that section. Either hit the link in the comment in the description or in the chat, or you can go to a quick link, popcast.co/join, and it will take you directly to that video. Either or, I hope to see you there. Thank you so much, and adios.
See you guys later.
All right. We're still here in audio, though, so, you know.
Oh, so yeah, since we're still here in audio, let me go back and just answer the Trek reviewer's comment, which was, I wonder if Wesley will be part of the cast in season 3. Well, I'll tell you this, Trek reviewer.
Wow.
Will Wheaton really wants you to believe it's possible that he is going to be in season 3 somehow, because he came out and he actually told in an interview that he can't say whether or not he's going to be in season 3, because that would just give away the plot.
Okay, so
which I thought was interesting.
I had to turn our video back on because I need to put this out.
Pick a video game, pick a movie, pick a television
Is
show,
that
pick
what
the
you
news.
want?
Oh, or
So
go
we
to
didn't leave.
fucking Congress.
Okay, so
Okay, so but let me just, so my point is that honestly, we don't think that Will Wheaton will be back for season 3. He had his moment, he had his cameo, and honestly, if everybody else in TNG that has been announced is going to be back, and we know all the people who are leaving, why would they keep it secret that he's not going to be there? Isa Briones is no longer going to be in season 3. The Traveler just took her away. I think his story's done.
Yeah,
That's our opinion.
I think his story's done. Okay, so we're on audio only for a little while, and at some point we're going to cut that off. But if you guys want to join us in the members section, come on over. The water is warm because Shane is actively peeing in the water.
Dude, that's so funny you said that, because I gotta go number 1. But I can wait a little longer. Now that we're in the member section, hey everybody. This is pretty cool. We've got I was supposed to switch over to the member section, which I have not done.
I'm already in there. Are
Are you in there? So why don't you talk about who is there?
Oh, Archmage Frey, Kenneth the Rogue. I think Mike is in there too. I'm not sure. But who is speaking? Archmage says, I'd rather Tobey Maguire be in Picard season 3. Okay. That's weird.
God, I gotta tell you, it's Tobey Maguire's story.
Okay, hold up. And Kenneth says Orville over Avatar. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about the poll I put up on the main channel, because I am frankly confused. Where are the Orville fans? What's going on right now? Can we talk about that real quick?
We do need to talk about the Orville's coming up quick.
Yeah, I don't.
And are people mad because? Are they mad because there's really no indication that there's going to be more than the 3rd season? Has it just been too long? Like what has happened? They've really fallen off.
All right, so here is a poll I put up, and I'm talking about active shows here, right? So like, we're gonna be covering, what do you want us to cover? And I'm only listing active things, not obviously everyone wants Stargate because half the comments were like, talk about Stargate. I get it, I agree with you, but
There's no
active
Stargate yet.
But there's no Stargate yet. So like, talk about shows that are actively on air, and I list Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, Star Wars: Obi-Wan Kenobi, The Orville: New Horizons, Halo, and Thor: and Love and Thunder. I'm frankly surprised that Halo and Thor even got because they got like a couple hundred votes between the two of them, which is surprising. But
Well, Strange New Worlds Orville has the second most votes.
yeah, but just barely edging out Star Wars: Obi-Wan Kenobi on a channel where there was a time where our entire live show was specifically only about the Orville.
True, but I don't underestimate this Kenobi series coming up. We're continuing that story, and I think it's going to be interesting. And I just, when you only have one vote and you have so many exciting things, how are you going to pick the Orville over? I don't know.
So do you think that it's like the Star Trek Strange New Worlds is like the incumbent and Star Wars is almost like the independent vote, and so it's yeeting out the
Yes.
Orville's vote? Is that what's going on?
So Star Trek Strange New Worlds is weeding out the Orville votes.
No,
Yes.
because Star Trek Strange New Worlds is what's active right now. So like
Right.
that's like the incumbent president, right? But then like you have
Can
like
we-
Star Wars
Yeah.
is like the independent vote, and it's like messing with the Orville's challenging vote.
Well, I think if you say like 75% of the people want Star Trek, that's what you would look at there, because you got 20% Orville and 55% Strange New Worlds.
That's true.
So if you look at it like that, because the Orville is basically good Star Trek, and now Strange New Worlds is good Star Trek. So it's kind of a tough one. I would have liked to see. Like I mentioned to you before, I probably would. We are covering Strange New Worlds. It would have been nice to see maybe something else up there till we could get in like a real good view. What was the other thing we're going to put up there?
Well, what we're gonna do is the next poll we're putting up, we're gonna drop the winner of this, because we've already established that Star Trek Strange New Worlds is gonna be on the docket, right?
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is there's so many things coming up. We are trying to make sure that we spend our time on what you want to see,
Right.
not what we want to make, but what you want to see. So we figured polls are a great way to do it. So now we've established Star Trek Strange New Worlds to top S tier. So that goes on the list. So we're going to drop that for the next poll, and we're going to drop either Halo or Thor from the next poll. Probably Halo, because Thor was beating Halo for a long time.
Yeah.
And then we're going to replace that with a couple more options, and we're going to see who wins and loses that next round until we've literally put every single thing that's active on the list, and we can rank them by what you care about.
I like games like that. This will be fun.
Yeah.
We need to have like a ranking order at the end or something. Do make it. You remember how we used to do those battle competitions with those AI robot things?
This is sort of like that. So yeah,
I love that.
We will put at the end of all this, at the end of the next few weeks, we'll post what you guys want to see from 1 to 10. And I'm sure Star Trek will take the cake. So
yeah, it's like Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the Orville, fight.
And then what we'll do is at the very end, we'll take the top 5 winners from all 5 polls and make them go heads up.
Oh, that could be fun.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, is there that much content out
there?
There's
a lot, bro. There's a lot. Because there's people keep talking about other shows that we're not even talking about that are super sci-fi. And we're going to talk about this in the members section.
La Brea. Come on, La Brea.
We are not talking about La Brea. No. I'm sorry. I don't care. If everyone writes in their vote La Brea, it's not happening. I am not going to suffer through La Brea.
How about that Amazon series with the hole in the ground? I watched that first season.
Oh, Outer Range.
Outer Range. That is a weird show.
It's a weird show, but there's also Upload, and season 3 is going to be wild. And they're getting a new season of Raised by Woes, which I've never even seen, but everyone talks about.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Like it's magic or something.
All right.
There's a lot of stuff. Okay.
let's get over to the comments. Looks like Ken's also having a weird week. Thank you, Ken, for being empathetic to my weird week, which we've determined is now normal.
Yeah, Yellowstone. It's sci-fi Yellowstone. It's not though. It's not what that. It's not what it is though. And Shane asked me what's Outer Range, and I was like, well, it's like Yellowstone meets Fringe. He goes, never mind. I don't want to watch it. Yeah. And I was like, I realized that I alienated someone when I said that. It's Yellowstone in setting, but it's not Yellowstone.
Yeah, there's like mountains and it's like Montana and cowboys. But see, the acting is so great. So that's what's interesting about that show is that you have, James Josh Brolin, and you have, and I don't know off the top of my head, the actor from that I love from Kevin Costner's. He was the bad guy in the Mailman,
Waterworld,
the Postman.
Oh,
in the Postman, he was the bad guy in that. He was also in with Bruce Willis in where they went up to the Comet and planted bombs. He was in that movie with him. Anyways, great actor. He kind of plays the villain. It gets weird. I'm just curious as what's going to happen.
Norman, the showrunners from The Expanse, they are moving to a new series. They're moving to the Boys spin-off series.
Are they going to make that one really slow and drawn out too? And kind of boring?
Is the Boys slow and drawn out?
No, The Expanse.
Oh, The Expanse was... It's funny because like The Expanse started off so like strong, and I think that like they're like, well, we need 6 seasons. So, and I love the story of The Expanse. It's so good, but it became so expansive. No pun intended.
It became the expanse of a TV show.
Right. It's like let's start off real fast paced and like here's all this information needs to be, and now let's slow it way down and make sure that there are multiple episodes where the story doesn't move whatsoever.
It's called soap operas. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, it's still a hell of a story, but
it's still a good story. They
dragged out that good story. They dragged it out for probably one more season than they had to be honest.
It's just slow.
And the books did get a very sort of SJW vibe to it. No offense to SJWs out there, but it became, I don't know.
No, I want to offend SJWs.
It started. So there's two kinds of SJWs. There's people that think SJWs is like, I'm a social justice warrior, and I think it's a good thing because they care about people. And let me tell you something.
That's okay. Yeah, those are good people.
That's okay, but that's not what the pulp culture version of that word means now.
Right.
So if you care about people, it's great. You should keep caring about people. That's important. It's important to care and have empathy.
If you care about this person but want to stomp the other person's face, that's where you call it.
That's where you become the new version of an SJW, and it hurts. It physically hurts to see that happening because I'm like, and you're seeing it happening more and more in books and video games and TV shows, and literally every single medium. And I have something for this. Ready?
Because we run everything.
We got more than Will, right? Can't we get that other guy who put himself in front of the green screen?
I have another one where he talks about like video games and blah 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 blah. Oh, this is
pick a video game, pick a movie, pick a television show, pick the news. Or go.
You need to go get the flexing the guy who went crazy, the young actor who has that great speech. Oh
yeah, I got a lot, but it takes like a long time to load these.
Oh, okay.
You don't even know how long it takes. It's sort of silly.
But
what I'm saying is, so far, every book, every video game, every movie, every TV show, if you grade it on a curve, right? You don't go, oh well that movie did a lot of money and critics loved it, but it still had like a 13% audience score. So these things are generally failing. The second you introduce this very extreme ideology, they start to fail, and they fail hard. And it doesn't matter how loved or how endeared this particular IP was, this story, this book, this video game, whatever. It doesn't matter. The second you start introducing those story points and those sort of preachy, off the wall, extreme ideologies, it doesn't matter how much people loved it. They immediately start to hate it. Immediately. And I gotta be honest, as someone who was a massive, no pun intended, Mass Effect fan, I played 1, 2, 3 over and over and over again. I thought the story was great, the gameplay was great, the world was expansive, the characters were amazing, absolutely awesome. 4 came out. And they started going woke, and they started introducing all these weird sort of extreme ideologies, and they started like changing the models of characters to sort of like fit people's perception of what they should look like or what they shouldn't look like. And the game was horrible. Not even because the story was bad, that was bad. But somehow they put so much emphasis on changing the story that they never even finished the game. You couldn't even like move properly. Everything was was wonky. They didn't want anyone to make a character that can possibly be sexualized. So they dumbed down the game to the point where it was basically a mobile game. And a lot of people spent $60 on a game that was in their minds and to my minds pretty much worthless. Because I wish it would have just stopped at 3 and it wouldn't have wrecked the franchise that I love. So that's what's happening.
Makes sense. You want to talk about what we have coming up?
Yeah, we're talking about Rings of Power. Speaking of
No. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, that. Go ahead. Yeah. I was like, what we have coming up as a channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go.
So yeah, we've got some interesting stuff coming up, guys. We're tomorrow. Are we off the audio on the live? On the English?
No, we're not.
Sorry, guys. If you guys want, come on over. We're going to talk about some fun stuff, but we got
there's
to
still
go.
some people watching on Lee's channel. I love you guys so much. Please hit the like button, but come over to the members section.
And if not, we'll see you next Thursday. No problem.
Yeah, if not, then yeah.